How do I calculate dependent probability for the GED Math test? Imagine you're picking apples from a basket, and you want to know the chance of getting to red apples in a row without putting the first one back. That's a perfect example of dependent probability. When one event affects the next, we're dealing with dependent events. On the GED Math test, understanding how to figure out these probabilities can help you solve many questions involving real-life scenarios like drawing cards or selecting items without replacement. First, you need to identify the events involved. For example, drawing a card from a deck or picking socks from a drawer. The key is to see how one event changes the total options for the next event. If you pick a red apple first, there are fewer red apples left for the second pick, so the chances change. Next, find the probability of the first event happening. Count how many favorable outcomes there are and divide that by the total number of options. For instance, if there are 10 apples and for are red, the chance of picking a red apple first is for divided by 10, which is for tenths or 2/5. Now, because the first event affects the second, you need to adjust the total options. If you picked a red apple first, then one less red apple remains, and the total apples decrease by 1. So, if there were originally 10 apples, now there are 9 left. Then, calculate the probability of the second event, given the first has already happened. This is called the conditional probability. Using the apple example, if 1 red apple was taken, 3 red apples are left out of 9 total apples. So, the probability of picking a red apple again is 3 divided by 9, or 1/3. Finally, multiply the probability of the first event by the conditional probability of the second. Using the apple example, it's 2/5 times 1/3, which equals to 50ths or 1/25. This is the overall chance of both events happening in sequence. Let's try another example. Suppose you have a bag with 6 marbles, 3 are blue and 3 are green. You want to find the chance of drawing 2 blue marbles in a row without putting the first back. The probability of the first blue marble is 3 divided by 6, which simplifies to 1/2. After drawing 1 blue marble, only 2 blue marbles remains, and 5 marbles are left in total. The chance of drawing a blue marble now is 2 divided by 5. Multiply these together. 1/2 times 2/5 equals 2 tenths, or 1/5. So, the probability of drawing 2 blue marbles in a row without replacement is 1/5. Remember, for dependent events, the probability of both happening is the product of the first event's probability and the second event's probability, given the first. The formula is P of A and B equals P of A times P of B given A. Practice with different scenarios like drawing cards, selecting items, or even choosing teams will help you get comfortable with dependent probability questions on the GED Math test. Keep practicing, and you'll see how these calculations become easier over time.